Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap. I'm Surbhi and this is Perspective 360 Degree, your one-stop solution for current affairs, descriptive writing and answer writing evaluation. If you are a first-time visitor to this series or to our channel, then we bring every day a lot of initiatives for you which help you in your regulatory bodies examination. And Perspective 360 Degree is very much aimed at phase 2 part of your examination where we guide you for descriptive writing. Not just this, you can practice from the comfort of your homes. Post your answers in the YouTube comment section under this video and we evaluate those answers in the next 48 hours entirely free of cost. So that's how effective it's going to be in your studies. Before proceeding to today's topic, which is regionalism, united we stand, and after all, whose land is it? So before proceeding to this topic, just let me know in the chat section if the audio is clear to you, and if the screen is perfectly clear, then we'll move ahead and we'll learn the various aspects of regionalism. What is it, why is it called, and what are the reasons for it, and more importantly, what are the impacts of it. Good evening, Sejal. Could you tell me if the audio and video both are clear to you? Okay. So, all right. So let's proceed. So first of all, let's look at a few news snippets where regionalism has appeared, and I'm also going to tell you where this topic is, very much related to your syllabus. Which part of the syllabus will you relate it with? Also, I have seen a lot of comments from your side posting about covering reports. So see, I understand that RBI has asked 2 questions from reports in the previous examination cycle, but the pattern will not always remain the same. But understanding the importance of reports and schemes, one part schemes have been covered before NABARD phase 2, so kindly refer to the schemes videos that we have covered during that time. For reports, we will be bringing out a few important videos in the coming days. Kritika ma'am has covered the Kafral report separately, India Finance Report released by Kafral recently. We will be also covering it in Perspective 360 Degree in the coming days. If you feel any other topic is something that you find yourself weak in or you find important from your exam point of view, then kindly let us know in the comment section. So first of all, talking about regionalism, look at this. This is a news snippet from the Shera celebrations, and Prime Minister Modi urged people to throw out forces using casteism, regionalism to divide country, to throw out people or those intentions which are using caste, regionalism and things like that to divide the country. So this news gained a lot of popularity. Now I have few short snippets from for you which actually show, and these are very recent, from 2 weeks old, from November, from 1 month ago, from 1 week ago. These actually show that regionalism is very prominent in the country. It is not a thing of the past, and hence this is not a topic that can be ignored. So High Court quashes Haryana law on 75% quota in private jobs to residents. So Haryana government, it came out with a bill few years ago which actually, and they wanted to reserve 75% private jobs for people of Haryana, and these jobs which were paying less than 30,000. So we have seen reservation in government jobs in government schools and colleges which are based on which is based on caste or historical deprivation of few sections of people, but based on a particular region from where you come or where you hold a domicile on. That kind of reservation in private jobs, it has not been allowed, but many states have actually tried to do that. Why have they tried to do that? How it benefits them or how it benefits the people of their state, that will be covered. Now Nagaland has proposed a special package to address ENPO statehood demands. So yes, statehood demands are very much prevalent in your country even now, and you have like so many states already which are based on linguistic factors, economic factors, cultural factors, but still more statehood demands are coming up, and one of the biggest factors is regionalism for them. And similarly for J&K, for like Bengal, we have separate demands for autonomy and statehood, which very clearly gives a picture that yes, these demands are present all over the country. They are omnipresent, and the reasons could differ from state to state or from demand to demand. Now coming to the syllabus. See, you have a topic called multiculturalism in social structure in India, and a question which is directly based on multiculturalism has never been asked, since it's a very basic topic. And the question that will be asked from multiculturalism is going to look like is going to appear in the form of regionalism or communalism, let's say. And regionalism is highly expected in the next examination cycle because of the new snippets that I showed you. Again, for NABARD Grade A, for ESI, you have multiculturalism as a direct topic. For SEBI Grade A, again, this topic does not find a direct relevance, but for English writing skills, this topic, including the Uniform Civil Code the topic that we covered in the previous lecture, this is very, very important. Now, what can be the expected question? The first thing the question can ask you is about explanation of regionalism and what are the reasons of regionalism. The question can also ask you what are the impacts of regionalism. How does it impact the country? Are there only negative impacts of regionalism, or are there positive impacts also? So briefly explain the concept of regionalism. What are the various reasons because of which regional sentiments have prevailed in India? Answer in 400 words, short question, and answer for 10 marks. This is the answer blueprint that I'm sharing with you. This is generated by Team EduTap experts. The answer would be divided into 3 parts, that is introduction, main body, and conclusion. So make sure you're dividing the content according to that. I'll show you how to do that. So in the introduction, we'll start by explaining regionalism, and we'll also give some examples of it. The second part would be about reasons of regionalism, and the third would be about conclusion that would be results of regionalism and a way forward. Since results of regionalism or the implications of regionalism have not been asked, so we will write the results shortly in the conclusion. Now coming to the introduction part of it, and here our understanding of regionalism begins. Now see, wherever you're watching this video from, I understand that you have some identity that you associate with yourself. आपकी एक identity है, और वो identity कहाँ से आ रही है? What gives you your identity? Your family, your school, your upbringing, your let's say religion that you practice, or if you're an atheist, that also gives you a type of identity. The type of profession you are in, and also a very important factor that gives you your identity is the region that you come from. So if I talk about India, if I talk about, let's say, northern states, I'm not going to talk about Jammu, Kashmir, Ladakh and these states. And, for example, if I talk about northern states and southern states in general, there is a big contrast in personality that you can see in amongst people belonging to, let's say, northern states and southern states. You can immediately distinguish between people coming from these two regions. Now, in the southern states itself or in the northern states itself, there are differences between people from place to place. Yes, there are bigger region differences, but there are differences in people from place to place, and I will show you. This is a state called Uttarakhand. I'm sure you know about it. And this is a state called Uttar Pradesh. Both of these states were part of Uttar Pradesh. This was just one state few years back, or a few decades back. It was just known as the state of Uttar Pradesh. Then people in Uttarakhand, they recognized that we are very much different. Hill people are very much different from the people who are living in plains, and hence they demanded a separate state for themselves. Now, having a separate political boundary, having a separate state for yourself, how does it benefit you? आपको क्या benefit होता है अगर आप एक separate state बना लेते हैं, या अगर आप एक separate district बना लेते हैं? The benefit is that you have a government that has been elected by you. एक government जो आपने elect की है, and let's say ये एक बहुत बड़ा region था. This was a very big region which was known as X. Now this X has been divided into a small region called A and this big region called B. Previously also this A and B existed, but जो government elect होती थी वो mostly B की elect होती थी. It was the government or the political leaders belonged to the region B, while the region A was very much rich in resources. तो हो सकता है इस X region की economy जो थी, that was dependent entirely on the hard work or on the natural resources of region A, but region B people were benefiting out of it. तो region A के लोगों को क्या लगता था? We are running the economy of this state, but the political leaders are coming from region B. यानी कि हमारी आवाज़, हमारी जो development concerns, they are not adequately addressed. तो इसलिए what they demanded, they said that we say no to this region X, or we say no to this state called X, and hence we want a separate state for ourselves. हमारी जो government होगी, our political leader will be our own. हमारा लोक सभा में representation होगा, we'll have a representation in Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha. We'll have a state government of our own, and we will rule ourselves by, we will be ruled by the people who come from, let's say, our community or our region, and let be separate, let be a separate state of its own. So basically होता क्या है, जब when people understand that region as a part of their identity is a very crucial factor, और उनको पता लगता है that they are probably deprived, तो या तो वो separate state मांगते हैं. If they feel that the country cannot address their demands, then they demand a separate region for themselves, that we don't want to be a part of this country. Many a times they demand autonomy within the state itself, ताकि उनको ज़्यादा resources या ज़्यादा rights मिल सकें. So whenever we talk about regionalism, you have to understand one thing. एक तो region specific identity है. For example, the language that you speak, the way your features are, the way your behavior is, it is coming from बहुत ज़्यादा उसकी जो aspects हैं, बहुत ज़्यादा आपके features जो हैं वो आपके region पे भी depend करते हैं, from where you belong. Yes, things change when you move to other places, things change based on your education, profession. Yes, they do, but some basic things they depend on the region from you come from. ठीक है, एक चीज है आइडेंटिटी का पार्ट हो गया. सेकंड इज आइडेंटिफिकेशन, दैट माय आइडेंटिटी इज बीइंग हर्ट और माय रीजन इज बीइंग हर्ट, तो मुझे ज्यादा रिसोर्सेज के लिए फाइट करने की जरूरत है. और इन दिस केस, जस्ट लाइक इन दिस केस, ए ऑलरेडी हैड रिसोर्सेज, सो आई नीड टू protect my own resources, and these resources, they can be water, they can be any natural resources, they can be economic resources. In this case where I showed you the concept, or where I showed you this snippet, यहाँ पे क्या था, private jobs. So jobs are also a source of resource which actually help people lead a better life. तो यहाँ पे I hope the concept of regionalism is clear to you, and regionalism is not a new concept. आप इंडिया का मैप देखिए, the states, every state has different kind of people. तो जो हमारी states भी हैं वो language के basis पर बनाई गई हैं. Language और culture के basis पे states को divide किया गया है. The newly generated states, let's say Telangana is there. Again, Telangana people recognize themselves differently from the people in Andhra Pradesh. पहले एक ही state होता था. People in Haryana recognize that we are different from people in Punjab, and people in Himachal Pradesh also realize that we are very different from people in Punjab. तो जो एक state पंजाब होती थी उसको 3 states में divide किया गया. Alright, तो ये अगर आप इंडिया का मैप उठा के देखें, you will realize that based on, again I'm repeating this, कि based on the cultural factors, regions को भी divide किया गया है ताकि शांति बनी रहे, so that there is peace and harmony in the country. Now, if you have to write about introduction, अगर आपने regionalism की introduction लिखनी है, first thing you should be able to explain it. Second thing, after explaining, you should be also able to talk about its manifestations, कि regionalism की implications क्या होती है. Secessionism होता है, demand for autonomy होता है, demand for separate statehood होता है. You have to talk about it. So first of all, defining it, that regionalism is the belief or ideology that emphasizes the importance of a specific geographic region within a larger nation, which is India in this case. And what it does involve, it involves a strong attachment and loyalty to a particular region, which may have its own distinct culture, history and identity. Historical factors हो सकते हैं, language हो सकता है, and इनके basis पर पूरी identity ही लोगों को अलग लग सकती है, that we are a part of a different identity. Then regionalism, it can promote diversity within a nation. Yes, India is, we call ourselves that India is a best example of unity in diversity. India is such a diverse nation, and all the people from all the regions, उनका जैसा भी culture है, they stay together. And उसका एक main reason ये भी है कि सबको separate land और separate resources provided हैं, और वो भी government ने अपनी मर्जी से provide नहीं किए हैं. Those land and resources are the ones on which they had historical rights on. Let's say people from Rajasthan, they have been living there for like generations. People from Madhya Pradesh are the ones who have been living there for generations. Tussle कब होता है? Tussle happens in your next part of the syllabus, which is urbanization and migration. जब लोग migrate करते हैं दूसरे regions में for in search of better resources, in search of better lives, and the people in target area realize कि ये लोग हमारे जैसे नहीं हैं. That is the time when tussle occurs, and the question is about that. What are the causes of regionalism? हम करेंगे. So, however, it can also lead to tensions and conflicts between regions and the central government. तो सिर्फ लोगों के बीच ही नहीं, between the central government and specific regions. हो सकता है government ने कोई international treaty sign करनी हो, which which involves taking water. Let's say West Bengal में आपकी एक river flow करती है, जिसका जिसका पानी बांग्लादेश में भी जाता है, वेस्ट बंगाल से एक रिवर फ्लो करती है जिसका पानी बांग्लादेश में भी जाता है. नाउ सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट वांट्स दैट वी शुड बी एबल टू साइन अ ट्रीटी विद बांग्लादेश रिगार्डिंग वाटर शेयरिंग अग्रीमेंट्स, बट ऑब्वियसली पीपल ऑफ वेस्ट बंगाल एंड गवर्नमेंट ऑफ वेस्ट बंगाल वांट दैट द राइट्स ऑफ लोकल पीपल हु आर बंगालीज दे शुड बी प्रोटेक्टेड फर्स्ट. उनके वाटर राइट्स प्रोटेक्ट होने चाहिए. सो रीजनलिज्म कैन टेक डिफरेंट फॉर्म्स. इट कैन बी गुड फॉर द पीपल ऑफ अ पर्टिकुलर region, excuse me for that. It can also be bad because it can turn violent. लोग प्रोटेस्ट कर सकते हैं, लोग वायलेंट हो सकते हैं, लोग एक दूसरे को मारने पर उतर आते हैं when they want rights for their own region. So it can manifest as secessionism, demand for secession from the Indian Union, कि हमें आप एक सेपरेट कंट्री ही बनने दीजिए, we don't want to be a part of India. For example, your Khalistan movement is there. All right. Then separatism, demand for separate statehood within the Indian Union. Demand for separate statehood आपने कहाँ पर देखा है? For example, in the case of Uttarakhand, in the case of Jharkhand, in the case of Telangana. Then autonomism. कई बार आपकी separate state नहीं बनाई जा सकती because that region is very very tiny. So what these people demand कि हमारा जो village है or the group of our 10 villages, we are very much different from rest of the state. तो हमें आप थोड़े से autonomy दे दीजिए. That means give us a little more rights कि हमारी जो government हो वो हम खुद ही elect करें. They will not be the chief minister or they will not be a part of other ministers, but direct हमारा linkage governor के साथ या president के साथ हो. So now you can give certain examples. Demand for separate states such as Bodoland, Jharkhand, Uttarakhand, Chhattisgarh, Telangana, etc. यहाँ पे आप खालिस्तान movement का example दे सकते हैं. Now moving on to the let's delve deeper section. Till here, if you have any doubts, kindly let me know in the chat section. अगर आपको समझ में आ गया है ये concept क्यों है, then we'll move on to the body part where we will be covering reasons of regionalism. क्या कारण है जिस वजह से regionalism अभी भी propagate कर रहा है हमारी country में, and is it increasing or is it decreasing or is it constant? News snippets तो देख के लगा that you know it is always in current affairs. आप पिछले साल के भी news snippets उठाएं, then you will see some statehood demands or some demands which are erupting out of the sentiment of regionalism. So yes, important है, इसके reason समझना बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. So if you have anything till here, कोई भी doubts हैं, kindly let me know in the chat section. Then we'll move on to the next part. Secessionism, that when you want to secede from the Indian Union, कि हमें country का part ही नहीं रहना है. We want to secede from the country. That means we want to cut away from the country. Is that clear, Sejal? Good evening, Rahul, Ashok sir, Veenu ma'am, thank you. Gomati, welcome, and all right. Okay, so now moving on to the second part, that is our body part. आज question का एक ही part है. We just have one micro question here. So we will be talking about reasons of regionalism. ठीक है? So what are the reasons of regionalism here? Development factors. I've divided this into 5 parts. देखिए, again there are 2 ways for you. आपके पास 2-3 approaches होती हैं body part को answer करने की. I always suggest that when you have multiple points, let's say if you have 7-8 points, the best way which we have been following in perspective 360 degree also is give them themes. Themes में divide कीजिए अपने आंसर को, उसके आगे explanation लिखिए, just like this one is there. तो ऐसे में क्या होता है, write the explanation in point format only. Paragraphs मत use कीजिए अपने आंसर में, because again word limit आप एक तो कम में अपना आंसर खत्म कर सकते हैं, plus it looks more presentable. बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छे से examiner आपका आंसर understand कर सकता है. So this is the best way. अगर आपको लगता है कि आप ऐसी themes नहीं बना पा रहे हैं, then that's no problem there. आप सीधा points भी लिख सकते हैं, 1 to 10 points लिख दीजिए, no matter whatever points you have. तो वो थोड़ा easy approach होता है, but make sure that you are using bold letters or you're using caps lock for the keywords, or you're presenting well in points. So talking about development factors. अब development factors में क्या हो सकता है, India is a big country, we are a diverse country. Now development or economic growth in one part of the country is not same as in other parts of the country. आपके पास जो दिल्ली में facilities हैं, let's say of education, health and everything, they might not be available in a village of northeast India. ठीक है, तो अब इंडिया का ही पार्ट है सारे regions. Now people in northeast India, they might feel that development is not occurring, or people in areas of West Bengal might think that we are part of the same country, we are working hard, we are contributing to GDP, but Delhi में ज़्यादा facilities हैं. So either they migrate. Secondly, what happens if they are not in a position to migrate or to, let's say, better places, and they don't want to migrate to better places, then what happens? They feel alienated from the rest of the country. So, ek to economic growth has not been enough. First of all, we are a developing country only. We are not a very rich country, and to catch the development with full speed. तो हर जगह तो development हुई ही नहीं है. First of all is this. Then there is uneven development, continuous neglect of a region, and internal colonialism. कि एक इंसान है, just few businessmen or industrialists or mining mafias, they are benefiting out of, let's say, the natural resources of a place. For example, there are many places in Jharkhand जहाँ पे daily labor is very much prevalent. People are working very hard, but again, they're not getting the economic benefits out of it because of internal colonialism. Despite being rich in natural resources, some regions remain economically underdeveloped. यहीं से आपका left-wing extremism, which has erupted, out of because of this uneven development, यहीं से आपका लेफ्ट विंग एक्सट्रीमिज्म का भी कॉन्सेप्ट आया है. एंड दिस डिस्पैरिटी हैज caused the feeling of relative deprivation. I think development factors point is clear. The second one is political administrative factors. Now, when you look at central government में अगर आप देखें, लोकसभा की बात करें, then there are political leaders who come from national parties. ठीक है, and national parties आपकी कंट्री में कितनी है? Let's say around 6 national parties are there in the country. उससे भी कम हो जाती हैं, कभी एक आधी बढ़ जाती है with time in a few decades or so. So, but when you go to many states, तो काफ़ी states में तो let's say national parties are forming governments, but there are state parties also जो कि उसी particular state के लोगों को belong करती हैं. Those state parties have erupted because those political leaders understood the development needs of that particular state कि हम सेम कल्चर से हैं, हमारा सेम हिस्ट्री है, एंड लेट्स से कोई हिस्टोरिकल हीरो होगा, उन्हें आगे ले आएंगे, उनकी स्टोरी लेट्स से प्रोजेक्ट करके दे गेन वोट्स आउट ऑफ दैट. नाउ दिस इज़ अ गुड थिंग बिकॉज रीजनल डिमांड्स जो होती हैं रीजनल पार्टीज के आने से बहुत अच्छे से फुलफिल होती हैं, बट इट हैज़ बीन सीन फ्रॉम रिसर्च दैट regional demands have not been fulfilled to as much extent as जितनी आपकी रीजनल पार्टीज आ गई हैं उतने एक्सटेंट तक नहीं फुलफिल हुई हैं. सो पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज व्हाट दे डू, दे एक्सप्लॉइट द रीजनल सेंटिमेंट्स विच इज ओके इफ डेवलपमेंट इज अकरिंग, इफ डेवलपमेंट इज हैपनिंग, एंड दे कन्वर्ट दोज रीजनल सेंटिमेंट्स टू सॉलिडिफाई सपोर्ट बेसिस. बहुत सारी रीजनल पार्टीज हैं इन मैनी स्टेट्स. वेन एवर इलेक्शन अकर, बहुत कम स्टेट्स हैं जहाँ पे आपकी नेशनल पार्टीज ही दो कंपेटिटर्स हैं. मैनी टाइम्स स्पेशली इफ यू गो टू साउदर्न इंडिया, रीजनल पार्टीज आर द बिगेस्ट कंपेटिटर्स फॉर द सीट ऑफ CM. Then they give place to regional problems in their election manifesto and promise for political and regional development. That's right. And this leads to development at times, but it gives birth to sub-regional movements. तो वो political parties क्या कर रही हैं? Mostly less development but more of separatist thought या sub-regional movements को ज़्यादा जन्म दे रही हैं. And they have limited themselves to vote bank politics only and scams only. तो वहाँ पे आपका जो political administrative factors हैं, they have also sustained regionalism since a very long time. Then there are historical and cultural factors. Now, national unity is not threatened by diversity. India is the best example of it. And national unity is not threatened by the fact that if somebody is feeling that yes, my region or my the history of the region where I come from is superior. There is no harm in that. But the problem occurs when people fight over these sentiments. When imposition of an ideology that the region or the historical history that I have or my ancestors built, that is superior to the history that everyone else has. For example, and this, it could include cultural heritage, folklore, myths, symbolism, historical traditions. Now, there could be a state in the country जहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा, cultural diversity or culture is very rich. If such people start hating, let's say, newer states or modern states, then, unity and diversity gets threatened, and that leads to threats amongst the people. It leads to violent agitations. It also leads to people feeling alienated when they visit such places. So linguistic aspirations and expression of ethnicity, formidable basis of regionalism, ये आप लिख सकते हैं इस आंसर में. Then talking about geographical factors. Now if you look at geography of the country, you start from North India, there are hills. Then you come to northern plains, फिर आप मिडिल इंडिया तक जाते हैं, सेंट्रल इंडिया तक जाते हैं, एंड देयर अगेन यू हैव हिल्स. देन यू गो टू वेस्टर्न घाट्स, नीचे सर्दर्न एरियाज में भी देयर आर प्लेन्स, देयर आर वैलीज, देयर आर हिली एरियाज. नाउ culture of all these people who are coming from hills, people who are coming from coastal areas, people who are coming from plains, वो geography की वजह से ही उनका culture बहुत ज़्यादा different है. The way of their living, their value system, everything is very much different. तो geography कैसे regionalism को propagate कर सकता है? Geography cannot be changed, first of all. So geography, it helps inhabitants relate to a particular religion, particular region, जो कि symbolic है, that is good. But वहाँ से क्या आता है आपका insider outsider complex, because many a times people are not very accommodative. When people are not very accommodative of outsiders, तो यहाँ पर historical and geographical isolation आकर होता है. For example, students who, let's say students from northeast moving to other parts of the country for studies, for jobs, तो वहाँ पर their features are different. The way they eat, the food that they eat, the way they behave, the way they talk, their language, everything is different because of the geography that they come from. ठीक है? So regionalist tendencies often stir interstate hostility. Interstate hostility इस वजह से आ जाती है as its spillover effect. Now coming to socio-economic factors, ये आपका काफ़ी ज़्यादा development factors से link होगा, but socio-economic factors में your health, education, everything gets included. So low level of social expenditure by states on education, health and sanitation, that also leads to regionalism. अब we'll go back to the example of the state X कि यहाँ पर A से सारे resources आ रहे थे and political leaders, they were coming from B, so they were not listening to the demands of people from let's say this A region. तो इस वजह से regionalism के sentiment ज़्यादा होते हैं. People from this region A start to feel कि अगर हमारी separate state होगी और if we have separate autonomy, then probably there will be high level of social expenditure. क्योंकि हमें separate budget allocated होगा. We'll have our own tax collection measures which we can spend on education, health and sanitation. तो socio-economic factors बहुत ही important reason होता है किसी भी community में from whichever region they are coming, for that community to feel deprived, for that community to rise and protest, for that community to turn violent, or for that community to protest for a separate nation, for a separate state, or a good level of autonomy. So इसको आप थोड़ा सा एक्सपैंड कर सकते हैं दैट लैंड रिफॉर्म्स हैव नॉट बीन कैरिड आउट इन मैनी ऑफ द स्टेट्स. इंडस्ट्रीज एंड फैक्ट्रीज काफ़ी एक ही जगह कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है. फॉर एग्जांपल इफ आई टॉक अबाउट आईटी इंडस्ट्री, बेंगलुरु, हैदराबाद एंड सम पार्ट्स ऑफ नोएडा, वहाँ की आप बात कर सकते हैं, बट अदर पार्ट्स दे मोस्टली आर डिप्राइव्ड. एजुकेशन एंड हेल्थ फैसिलिटीज आर एडिक्वेटली प्रोवाइडेड ऐसी जगह पे. कम्युनिकेशन नेटवर्क इज देयर, बट अगेन इन अदर स्टेट्स या अदर रीजन्स दीज आर नॉट वेरी मच एडिक्वेटली प्रोवाइडेड. हियर इज योर example. तो इससे होता क्या है, people from let's say the developed states start to feel that everything that is happening here belongs to us. For example, anti-migrant feelings develop हो जाती हैं जो कि आपकी states like महाराष्ट्र में हुई हैं, states like हरियाणा में हुई हैं, and that's why both these states they have tried to bring their own कोटा बिल्स कि प्राइवेट सेक्टर में जो जॉब्स हैं वो रिजर्व की जाएंगी फॉर द पीपल ऑफ आवर स्टेट ओनली. नाउ मूविंग टू द कंक्लूजन, हियर वी हैव नॉट रिटन अबाउट इम्प्लीकेशंस ऑफ रीजनलिज्म, किसकी क्या पॉजिटिव या नेगेटिव इम्प्लीकेशंस हो सकती हैं. सो इन 1 to 2 लाइन्स टॉक अबाउट इम्प्लीकेशंस ऑफ रीजनलिज्म इन योर कंक्लूजन इटसेल्फ. पॉजिटिव क्या है, लोगों को एक लेट्स से फ्रॉम विच एवर रीजन यू कम फ्रॉम, आप जब भी उस रीजन को विजिट करते हैं यू गेट अ सेंस ऑफ कम्युनिटी. आपको थोड़ा स्ट्रॉन्ग फील होता है, यू फील लव्ड, यू फील दैट येस I belong to a particular region, there is a part in the world that I can call home. तो आपको एक community ready-made मिलती है as आपके birth से ही मिलती है. Secondly, you can connect and find relevance to your own identity in this world. तो ये पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट्स होते हैं. थर्डली, what can happen, what is the positive impact? Regional sentiments can be heard when people understand that we come from a particular region. This is our strength, this is our weakness. Then policy focus can occur for that region क्योंकि वो लोग फिर डिमांड करने लगते हैं फॉर डेवलपमेंट. सो रीजनलिज्म इट अट्रैक्ट्स द फोकस ऑफ पॉलिसी मेकर्स. येस, ये एक पॉजिटिव चीज़ है, बट नेगेटिव क्या है, वायलेंट एजिटेशंस हो सकते हैं एंटी माइग्रेट फीलिंग्स की वजह से और फॉर डिमांडिंग ऑफ सेपरेट स्टेटहुड विच डिस्टर्ब्स द लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन. एंड नॉट जस्ट दिस, इट ऑल्सो impacts the economy of the whole country. And मैंने बोला है लेफ्ट विंग एक्सट्रीमिज्म भी अंडर लैक ऑफ डेवलपमेंट इन सर्टन रीजन्स उसी वजह से आया है. जो आपका रेड कॉरिडोर है, इट इंक्लूड सर्टन रीजन्स ऑफ द कंट्री विच आर अंडर डेवलप्ड, जहाँ पर डेवलपमेंट नहीं पहुँची है जिस हिसाब से वहाँ के रिसोर्सेज थे या हैं, या जिस हिसाब से वहाँ के लोगों ने हार्डवर्क पुट इन किया है. सो इट कैन ऑल्सो बिकम, इफ यू नो इट गोज आउट ऑफ कंट्रोल, तो इट कैन ऑल्सो बिकम अ शील्ड फॉर मिलिटेंसी एंड एक्सट्रीमिज्म, और एक इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी थ्रेट क्रिएट कर सकता है जैसे ऑलरेडी किया हुआ है. देन Talking about some positive factors more, here we've not segregated points. यहाँ पे मैंने आपको कुछ points दिए हैं. Choose them and write at least 4 points in your answer. सारे points मत लिखिएगा. Regional identity provides us with a ready-made community to connect with and share, जिनके साथ हमारा shared culture and history होता है. So we feel, very much calm in this place. Then fraternity, brotherhood and peace, ये आपने लिखना है that this is what we need in our democracy. We do not need separatist tendencies. हो सकता है एक part of India it is providing us with crops and food grains and the other part of our country could be providing us with jobs. The example could be, let's say, Punjab, Haryana and Bangalore. So Punjab, Haryana आप उनको let's say food bowl of the country consider कर सकते हैं और parts of central India can be considered food bowl of the country. And let's say these states which have like jobs in the IT sector, उनको आप jobs के लिए respect कर सकते हैं. And similarly states like Maharashtra, they can be respected for the economic benefit that they provide to the country. तो हर एक region में सब कुछ नहीं हो सकता, but we need to respect every region and people from every region for not just their culture, for who they are, but for all the, let's say, all the, impact that they are making. चाहे वो कितना छोटा है कितना भी बड़ा हो. So, one part of India might be providing maximum jobs to the youth, while other parts could be contributing food grains and natural resources. So regionalism, what it does is it threatens the time-tested fabric of unity in diversity if promoted in ultra manner. तो हमने क्या करना है? We have to conclude on a note that identity, चाहे वो रीजनलिज्म से आ रही है कहीं से भी आ रही है, इट डजंट नीड टू बी असर्टेड टू बी प्रोटेक्टेड. तो ये कोट सा है जिसके ऊपर आप अपना आंसर एंड कर सकते हैं एंड हियर इट विल हेल्प यू गेट very good mark. जो आप सोशल इश्यूज में whenever you're writing answer, make sure that you are ending on a philosophical note. थोड़ा positive and philosophical note पे end कर रहे हैं, not on a very factual note. Only then you will be able to score very high in your answers. ठीक है? So these are your points for conclusion. Yes, Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat, you can write that, Anisha. Okay, Sibananda. Now, if you have any doubts, kindly let me know in the chat section. अगर आपको कुछ additions भी करने हैं इस answer में, so this is the best platform. All of you are online. Kindly make those additions through the chat section. I will read them out for the entire audience. By that time, I am displaying the question again. And free evaluation आपको provide किया जाता है if you post your answers in the comment section under this video. And you can post your answers in the next 48 hours. तो आज Monday है, by Wednesday 5 PM make sure, जब तक हमारी next video आए, I'll meet you on Wednesday again at 5 PM. So Wednesday 5 PM से पहले kindly post your answers so that our team can evaluate them for you in a comprehensive manner. So yes, Anisha says, Niti Aayog highlights best practices of all states which can be adopted by other states. Yes, that's right. जो आपके नीति आयोग कर रहा है या आपके काफ़ी civil society actors कर रहे हैं which promote, let's say, cooperation and competition among states. That is also, that is an antidote to the sentiments of regionalism. देखिए, अपनी identity को intact रखना, that is a superpower. It will always help you, it will always keep you grounded. But you also need to learn from what other people have been doing all this while. और लोगों की identity का क्या part है? What language do they speak? What cultural history do they have? What kind of, let's say, cuisines they eat? So I think food habits के मामले में we all want to have like all kind of like North Indian also, South Indian also. But when it comes to accommodation, we kind of, lack somewhere in that. That again depends from person to person. So kindly be open to ideas. That is what you have to represent in your answer. So, ma'am, how many minimum words can we write in conclusion part? Abhishek, 10% of the word limit. तो अगर 400 words का आंसर है, तो 40 words से ऊपर आपका conclusion नहीं जाना चाहिए. So do we write a way forward if it is not asked in the question? Aspirant, many a times it will be asked in the question to give a way forward, but if it is not asked, then still understand कि आप एक question को ना negative note पे नहीं छोड़ सकते कि regionalism बुरी चीज़ है, इसके ये causes हैं. There you cannot leave the answer. So way forward is always implicit in the answer. तो एक दो solutions देकर या एक दो अच्छी बातें बोलकर please end your answer. उसी वजह से conclusion is highly recommended. All right. So, okay, so Wednesday 5 PM it is. I don't see, okay, I have another doubt, ma'am, because of the political regionalism, for this we stay away development scheme from National Party. Yes, Sibananda, that is right. That is very much right. It has been seen that when the political party which is leading at center is not in like good terms with the political party which is ruling your state, तो काफ़ी बार आपकी state को funds नहीं मिलते and development suffers because of that particular reason. But your state government has other methods also for carrying out development. या टैक्स का भी काफ़ी हिस्सा स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स को जाता है. देयर इज़ फिनेंस कमीशन, देयर इज़ बजट रीएलोकेशन, बट समवेयर और द अदर some amount of suffering is there. और ये फैक्ट सिर्फ इंडिया के लिए ही नहीं है, it is prevalent in all the countries which follow a parliamentary form of government which also has the component of federalism. तो ये सब कंट्रीज में है एंड इसको आई थिंक eradicate नहीं कर सकते, बट यू नो इन द शॉर्ट रन, बट इन द लॉन्ग रन येस वी कैन वर्क फॉर इट, बट इट शुड बी ब्रॉट डाउन. दैट्स द आइडिया. All right. So no more doubts coming. I don't see, I don't understand. I suddenly have more viewers right now towards the end of this video. Okay, so I'll see you on Wednesday 5 p.m. Kindly post your answers before that. If you have any feedback for us, if you have, or if you want to reach us, this is our email ID. You can book a strategy call with me at this email ID. My name is Surbhi. And you can also call us at 8146-207-241 if you want to take guidance from us further regarding any of the examination you're preparing for. And the YouTube comment section is always open for feedback and any additional points you want to make. I make sure that I answer to all your doubts, all your queries. We always do that. If you have any topics in mind that you want to get covered, kindly let us know in the YouTube comment section. Sibananda, okay. All right, you're welcome, Sejal. The PDF would be available tomorrow morning, but I will make a request, Sibananda, that if it can be available at the earliest. So tomorrow morning on our Telegram channel, the link will be there in the description for our Telegram channel. Kindly join it. The PDF will be available tomorrow. But Sibananda, note taken. All right, thank you all of you. You have been such a wonderful audience. You know, you've participated so much. All the very best. May the force be with you. Just work as hard as you can. Take care.